On that bitterly cold night, my great-grandfather and his comrades gathered in a small undamaged house to celebrate their victory with drinks, songs, laughter, and jokes. Everything seemed like a typical celebration until two fellow soldiers, whom they didn't particularly like, joined them. Sergi, a friend of my great-grandfather, suggested they step outside for a smoke. Donning heavy coats, they lit their cigarettes and enjoyed the victorious atmosphere. As they were about to return inside, a chilling scream echoed from the distant woods, prompting concern that one of their comrades might be in trouble. Fearing a possible encounter with angry Germans, they armed themselves and, along with other soldiers, ventured into the woods. As they delved deeper into the dark and cold forest, my great-grandfather experienced an unsettling feeling of dread and fear. Despite their efforts, the screaming ceased, and the group split into pairs to search for the source. My great-grandfather and Sergi followed the faint cries, discovering a disturbing sight: two German soldiers on the ground, one dead and the other alive. The dead soldier had suffered horrific mutilation, with missing limbs, ripped skin, and scalping. The odor in the air was unusual, not typical of a decomposing body but more like chemicals. The living German appeared traumatized, speaking in German and showing grievous wounds. Suddenly, they heard moaning like noises and witnessed a tall, shadowy figure fleeing into the darkness. In a state of fear and confusion, they fired their weapons in its direction but couldn't catch the elusive entity. Upon returning to the village, they faced reprimands, and the incident was reported to higher authorities. However, the matter was never investigated further, leaving my great-grandfather with vivid memories of the mangled German and the terrifying encounter with that unidentifiable creature, causing him immense stress whenever he recalls the incident. Let's move straight to the second story. I am Nicholas, currently a freshman at Syracuse University, which is situated in an area that's not considered very safe. Recently, I went through a breakup with my first girlfriend, prompting me to explore online dating again. I came across a girl named Stephanie on the Hinge app, who also happened to attend Syracuse University. We found many shared interests, such as reading and going to the movies, and we had a similar sense of humor. We decided to go on a movie date, and Stephanie asked me to meet her at a specific location near campus where she would pick me up. Around 9 o'clock, I waited on the corner of a regular neighborhood block, sharing my location with her as she requested. However, when a car approached me, it turned out to be an older man, claiming to be Stephanie's father. He asked why I was alone and said he'd give me a ride to meet his daughter. Something about the situation felt off, and I realized that it was unusual for him not to mention that he'd be picking me up. To avoid any potential danger, I walked away in the opposite direction from his car. He called after me, surprised by my response, but I didn't take any chances and continued walking away. Thankfully, he didn't follow me, and I made my way back towards campus. However, later on, I noticed what seemed to be the same car parked on the side of the road with the lights off. Feeling suspicious, I kept my distance and eventually lost him when I sprinted back to campus. Once I was back in my dorm room, I received a text from the supposed Stephanie, which I suspected was actually the same man. The text was threatening and disturbing, saying hurtful things and expressing violent intentions. I replied, telling him that I had screenshots of the conversation and that I would report him to the police. I promptly blocked his number and saved the conversation as evidence. I intend to go to the police with the evidence and hope they can take appropriate action in this matter. Let's move to the third story. I was just 16 at the time, and because of this, I was what Americans would consider being ready to go to law school. As a sophomore in high school, I was, and still am, extremely selective about the companions I choose. I had around 5 true pals at the time, which is significant for how the story began. When I made the decision to visit the sole bar in my town that permitted 16-year-olds inside one evening, despite being prohibited from drinking, we are pre-gamed, so whatever it means. Teens in Holland will begin drinking at the